Today, I want to talk about how to stand out as an artist and be memorable in 2025 because things have changed so drastically in the last 20, 30, 40 years. As an artist, you no longer have to get noticed by an art collector and get your work showcased in galleries in order for people to see it and buy it. With, globalization and social media and even the rise of AI generated art, although it's never been easier than ever to actually make money, at your fingertips on your phone to own a business and generate revenue, it has also made it harder than ever to stand out and be memorable in this massive sea of competition of other artists. So number one, to stand out as an artist in 2025 and to be memorable is you're going to use personality-driven branding. You're going to focus on being authentic. One of the biggest mistakes that I think we can make as artists is just believing that if our art is good enough, it'll just sell itself. And that's why in art school, so I've heard, I didn't go to art school, they don't teach you in art school how to market and sell your art, how to treat it like a business. They teach you how to create amazing art, but then after that, you're kind of just on your own and you're lost trying to figure out, how do I even sell this and find people that want to buy it? And although the quality of your work could be part of the reason your art's not selling, I would guess that if you are creating work that you feel confident in and you know someone out there wants, that your problem isn't the artwork, it's in your branding and marketing. And I would guess that you might be missing out on one of the biggest and most important elements, in my opinion, of branding yourself as an artist online. People don't just buy art because it looks pretty. And I'm not talking about mass-produced wall art at TJ Maxx or Ross. I'm talking about people that genuinely appreciate original artwork created by artists. Okay, people buy that artwork because they feel a connection to the piece, a connection to the artist. This is where something called parasocial relationships comes in when it comes to social media. If you've ever felt like you know a certain YouTuber or a certain reality TV star or a certain artist online just from watching their content, then you know what I'm talking about. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided bond where an audience feels like they genuinely know a person, despite having never interacted with them in person. And I don't know, I'm curious, do you feel that way about me? No pressure if you don't. But this is why certain creators on social media have a much higher engagement rate than others. And I would argue that engagement rate, and brands would argue the same thing, engagement rate matters so much more than the amount of followers or the amount of likes that you get. In fact, let's separate social media engagement from art for a second and just talk engagement. Engagement rates are super important for content creators like me here on YouTube. When I get brand deals, it matters because it shows how much an audience actually engages and cares about the creator's content. And on platforms like Instagram or TikTok, engagement is mostly about likes and comments, but here on YouTube specifically, it goes a little bit deeper, which is why YouTube is the biggest platform where brands are willing to advertise on creators' content. YouTube viewers spend more time on average watching their favorite creators because the videos are longer, which leads to a deeper parasocial relationship. You feel more familiar, more bonded to the creator, and parasocial relationships have been proven in consumer psychology to increase sales. So the more that you trust a person, the more you feel like you know a creator, the more likely you are to spend your money on something that they recommend or that they create because you have attached that value of the creator to the product. And I have an example for you, and because I don't like calling out artists, it just doesn't feel very supportive in the art community. I have an example that I've showed in one video before, so you might remember this if you watched my last video. These are two creators in the same niche. They're both in the finance and budgeting niche, but they take two drastically different approaches to what they're posting on social media. They both have big followings, but take a look. First one is by a guy named Bradley on a Budget, and his videos go viral. I think you're gonna see why.
On today's episode of What the is Bradley doing to save money? I'm building an outdoor refrigerator. Okay, before you call me insane, just hear me out. Anyways, when I talk to people about their spending habits, I feel like so many people say they always go out to eat for lunch, which is stupid. Seriously, why are you waking up to go to work every day to just give your money to everyone else? This is my dinner that costs less than $2 to make that I eat every day as a frugal person with a touch of OCD. Potatoes from this bag, it's a really good deal, 3 pounds for $2. Roughly each potato is about 29 cents. We then lightly oil our pan with a few drops of oil. You don't need a silicone brush. Seriously, wake up. Okay, so now we got the potatoes cooked.
Okay, second creator, a lot of followers, big platform here on YouTube as well. Watch this short video.
Pretend this $100 is your paycheck. Here's how I would budget and allocate every $100 that you make. $50 of it should go to your necessities like rent, groceries, or utilities. $30 of it should go to your life like eating out, entertainment, and discretionary expenses. And $20 should go to your savings. These are your investments. This is known as the 50-30-20 rule, and I like it because it...
Okay, so clearly both of these creators are creating content in the same niche, but they're taking really different approaches. One is taking a personality-driven approach. One is taking a very produced, scripted, and edited approach. But my question to you is, which one of those creators do you feel like you know? In other words, which one do you feel like you have a deeper parasocial relationship to? And I think you'll find that if you go look at who you're following on social media, the artists, not just artists, the people that you feel the deepest connection to are probably creating personality-driven content. Because if they're just using trending sounds and you've never heard them speak, you don't know what they sound like, you probably don't know much about them as a person, and so you might like the aesthetic of their page, but you don't feel a deep connection to them as a person. And the same applies to artists. If your art page on social media is just strictly a photo dump, just photos of your artwork, you might be missing out on a deeper connection with your audience. So this is why I recommend sharing more behind the scenes, sharing your creative process, your inspirations, your struggles. Let them hear your voice, let them hear you talk. Because studies show that human connection boosts value. And this applies to the value of your artwork as well. In fact, a study in the Empirical Studies of the Arts Journal revealed that reading an artist's statement about an artwork increased the viewer's ratings of said artwork. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Second way to stand out in 2025 as an artist is to develop a recognizable art style or look or niche, something that makes you instantly recognizable, either yourself as a person, as the artist, or your work. The first example that comes to my mind is ZHC. If you've ever, stumbled upon ZHC's videos here on YouTube, he's a big art YouTuber, and for a long time, his signature look was his teal hair. Now, obviously, you don't need to go dye your hair a crazy color unless you want to. You don't have to change your appearance, but this also can apply to your artwork. If you can develop a very recognizable style where the moment anyone sees your painting, they instantly know that's a Kayla Carlisle original, that gives you power of branding. This is how you become memorable. And I know this is like the ultimate challenge that all artists struggle with, is how do I find my style? And I think a good way to start is to ask someone close to you, your partner, your parents, your siblings, your friends, when you think of my art, what's one word that comes to mind? And then see what they say. Okay. Third way to stand out as an artist in 2025 is to have a professional website. And this goes beyond just your social media now. In today's digital landscape of artists trying to sell their work on social media, having a clean and credible website makes you look professional, makes you look trustworthy, credible, and it sets yourself apart from, per se, the amateurs, the artists that are saying, message me if you're interested in buying this. In fact, 75% of consumers have admitted that they judge a business's credibility based on website design alone. And 84% of consumers say that they think website design and website presence are more credible than a company's social media. Now, while platforms like Etsy and Redbubble, these e-commerce sites, provide you with accessible avenues to sell your art, having your own website offers its own distinct advantages for you. You can think of Etsy like selling at a big, crowded flea market online versus having your own website is like having your own designer store. It allows you to control your own branding, and I've talked about in previous videos, my video about how to attract wealthy art buyers if you're trying to sell large originals. Consumers trust minimalism more than anything else, and so they do not like clutter. In fact, a cluttered, colorful, too vibrant, too much going on your website has been shown to give consumers an impression of low value. So having your own website allows you to control that. It allows you to control the overstimulation that can come from an e-commerce site like Etsy. There's a reason why luxury companies like Apple, Tesla, Louis Vuitton, they all have adopted minimalism as their strategy. For artists looking to create a professional and affordable website, platforms like Hostinger offer really user-friendly tools to help you build a stunning website in less than a minute. And their business shared hosting plan comes with everything you need. Hostinger has a 0% transaction fee on all of your sales, which I know matters to us artists. And all of their e-commerce features are already included in the business plan. And to make it better, you can use the code Kayla at checkout for an exclusive 10% discount. Hostinger also offers you a free domain name, and it offers these beautiful pre-built templates. And they have AI tools that can help you bring your vision to life in a matter of seconds. And you can always reach out to their customer support 24/7. That's a big deal. So whether you're selling large original pieces or prints of your art or exclusive limited edition prints of your art, it is super easy to create your very first product, create your title, your description, set your price, and publish it so that you're ready to start taking orders literally within a few minutes. You can also create an artist's biography page or a blog to help your audience get to know you. This gives another level of depth in that authenticity that I was talking about, and there's those parasocial relationships. So if you've been looking for an easy, affordable, drag and drop website builder, Hostinger is perfect for you. And this video is actually sponsored by Hostinger. Get started today at hostinger.com/Kayla and use the code Kayla for an extra discount. Okay, number 4 of how to stand out as an artist in 2025 is you're going to use the power of story-driven art. You're going to give people a reason to care about your artwork. Now, every piece of art tells a story, whether it's intentional or not. If you choose not to tell the story, well, then it's just up to your viewer to fill in the blanks and figure out what the story is behind the piece. But if you think about some of the most famous paintings of all time, think about Starry Night by Van Gogh. Obviously, we love this painting because it's by Van Gogh, but it's the story behind it, the fact in knowing that it was created in his mental hospital room, that it's the view out his window from the institution. It just gives us so much more connection to the piece. And a 2019 study on neuroaesthetics found that when people know the backstory behind a painting, their brain activity increases drastically, which deepens the emotional connection that they feel to the piece. So I'm going to give you an example here. So let's just say I post this landscape with no caption, okay? Look at it, remember it, okay, done. Now imagine that I post this landscape. And I say, when I was a little girl, I used to come visit my grandmother's house every Sunday, and she had this little creek behind her house, and I would usually take my shoes off and I would put my little toes in the water and I would try to touch and play with the little tiny fish that would swim by in schools, and I could always smell my grandmother baking apple pie as it wafted out her window down to the stream behind her house. After my grandmother passed away, I still continued to come down to this stream, put my toes in the water, and look at the fish, even as an adult. And sometimes, I swear, I can still smell apple pie. This is a painting of my special place. Okay, I totally made that up. I totally made that story up. It's pretty good though, right? Let's say that a month from now, this painting pops up on your newsfeed, and this painting pops up on your newsfeed again. Which one of these paintings are you gonna remember a month from now? I would guess probably it's the one that you know the story behind. This one, it's probably just going to get buried in your memory. I mean, if you've ever seen Inside Out, that ball has been ejected, rolled down the tube, goodbye forever, because how does this landscape stand out from the other 10,000 landscapes that you've seen on Instagram this week? It doesn't. The other one is memorable because it's not just a picture, it is a story, and stories are memorable. Step number 5 for standing out as an artist in 2025 is to focus on community rather than virality. And now in today's social media culture, it can feel like the obvious solution to all your problems would be to just go viral and have millions and millions of followers. And if you got millions of likes on every painting you posted, wouldn't that fix all your problems? Now, I'm not going to say that going viral is bad, because obviously free exposure is great. It's why people pay to put up billboards, and you increase the odds that, 1 out of the 1,000 people you reach is going to go to your website and buy your painting. But I want to point out that there is something better than virality, and that is community. And this goes hand in hand with engagement. Would you rather have 10,000 followers who never engage with your work, don't really remember who you are, but they might like your posts when you post them? Or would you rather have 100 loyal, dedicated super fans who leave paragraph comments on everything you post? They love your work. They buy every piece. They collect it. And the way to achieve those two audiences takes different approaches. The way to virality is to post all the time. Post as much as possible. Post every trend. You don't have to go very depth in your content. You just have to do whatever's going to go viral. The way to build community is to focus on quality of what you're posting rather than quantity. And I suppose that if you could post every single day without sacrificing your quality, then it couldn't hurt. But I want to talk about something that I've seen someone recently talk about on TikTok that I'd never heard talked about before until this person brought it up. And it's a phenomenon called overexposure backlash or oversaturation. And it's what happens when an influencer or a celebrity is so omnipresent, they're everywhere you look, that you actually, despite liking them at first, you get really tired of seeing them. And studies have shown that audiences tend to disengage with creators when they feel like they're posting too frequently without having any real value. And the example, the person that I saw talking about this was talking about a specific creator on TikTok, not art related, but if you're on TikTok, you may have run across the page Matt and Abby. They are a couple. They post family content, marriage content, and people have just, I guess, grown tired of Matt in the last few years, the husband. The growing opinion of the public on social media has been that we don't like Matt and Abby deserves better. This isn't my opinion. This is just what the general consensus of the public has been. And in response to that backlash, what Matt did was he began posting more. He started his own podcast in addition to their own podcast. He started sharing more about how he had anxiety and he was sleeping on the closet in him and his wife's room. And essentially, to damage control his reputation, he actually did what I think is the opposite of what you should do, which is post less. Let people forget about you. And instead, all of these videos that he started posting, like nonstop, it just cemented in people's minds even more that they were tired of him. And I hope that example makes some sense. That's just what comes to my mind. But this is an example of why you should focus on quality rather than quantity of what you're posting. So instead of flooding your audience's newsfeed with constant art, your art all the time, I would start brainstorming ways that you can create less frequently but more meaningful content that's going to get more engagement, more comments, more questions, build more community. Because the irony is when you do this, ironically, these creators do tend to end up going viral because people just relate to them on such a mass scale. Focus on connection, not numbers. Okay, number 6 on how to stand out as an artist in 2025 is be human, because AI cannot replace the soul of art. Let's talk about AI art, okay? It's everywhere. It's all the hot topic right now in the art world. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish real art from AI art. But the truth is, AI art will never replace real art. And here's why. Because art isn't just about color and composition. It's about emotion, soul, and intention. And while AI may be able to create perfect art, humans are imperfect and flawed, and that is what people want. And a 2023 cognitive research study found that when people looked at paintings and then they were told whether true or not, if they were told that the painting was created by AI, or they believed that it might be because they were given hints that it could possibly be created by AI, they rated it significantly lower in beauty, meaning, and emotional depth, even when it was actually made by a real human. Another study showed that authentic, original artwork stimulates the brain, creates more brain activity than digital reproductions of the same artwork. This proves that we are wired to respond differently to real handmade human art than we could ever respond to something digitally reproduced or digitally created by AI. And sure, let AI take over the cheap art print market on Etsy. Let AI take over the wall art section at TJ Maxx. People who buy real art, they are buying art because they want to buy a piece of how the artist interprets the world. So, again, share your weird creative process. Share your imperfections. Share your struggles, your flaws, the backstories behind your paintings. how you failed 20 times in this painting and had to restart 20 times. Share the imperfections in your art that set you apart as human and not AI. It might seem counterintuitive because you want to seem completely put together. You want to seem like you got it all together, like you got your act together and like you created this masterpiece all in one go. But now you're starting to sound like a robot, huh? Like AI? Okay? People don't want that. People want messy, imperfect, authentic human art. Show your messy sketchbook pages. Show your bad sketches. Show the emotions when you're frustrated in your studio at 2 a.m. and you've crumpled up your last 5 drawings. Because AI can replace aesthetics, but it cannot replicate you as a human being, as an artist. And it is your humanity, your thoughts, your feelings, and your lived experiences that are your biggest advantage as an artist. These are the things that make you stand out in the art world. So to conclude this video, you're gonna be authentic and show your personality. Create personality-driven content. You're gonna tell the stories behind your art so that they're memorable and they stick in people's minds. By the way, I highly recommend the book Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. You're gonna develop a recognizable style or niche or become known as the go-to artist for one particular thing, if you can. You're gonna have a professional website presence, and you're gonna use the code Kayla for an exclusive 10% discount at hostinger.com/Kayla. You're gonna prioritize community over virality, and that's gonna help you go viral later on anyways. And you're gonna lean into your imperfections and your humanity because that is what AI can't touch. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts or feedback in the comments below. I love reading your guys' questions. You always pick my brain and get me thinking about the next video. So have a great day, guys. Go get creative. And before I go, you want to see the authenticity of this YouTube video right now to make sure it's not AI? Well, here's what you just saw is this corner, but here's the behind the scenes of this room. We just moved. Our entire life is packed up in these boxes. This is my new in-home studio. Watch my vlog if you want to see my new house reveal. But yeah, bye friends.